Oh my goodness. All right, party people. This your man Griff. All right. I am tired. Would have been up here sooner, but I had 4 scan backs that I needed to do and had to get those done. So that's done. And then I had to eat. And so I think I'm straight now. And I know, man. I know. Well, I went to the doctor last week and they told me I had to lay off the fritters. Yeah, they told me I had to lay off the fritters for a little bit. I was like, for real? And they was like, yeah, we for real. So, yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm a little tired right now. Um, yeah, today things got a little discombobulated. Um, one of the signings, the signer name was supposed to be on the closing documents. Yeah, I know, Angela. I know. Yeah, we got to talk. Yeah. So it's been crazy. Things are starting to pick up on signing order. Um, it's weird. I did a video to the members about it, and then on here to the public, and then next thing I know, things started popping a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see. I need to update this that I reached out to the people. I forgot to update that. And left message, and I'll give them a call again in the morning. um, man. Now, good evening to you. What's going on there, Caprinas? Good to see you there, Tracy. Yeah, I saw your text, Tracy. For as doing a closing with a title company, there's nothing that I can really tell you except just do what you know you're supposed to do. Um, because each title company is different, so it's hard for me. To me, it will be hard for me to say, "Hey, when you go there, definitely do this." To make things go smoother. If there's anything I could tell you, it would be follow their lead. Find out how they want you to roll, um, and just pay attention to the flow. I mean, that's really the only thing I can tell you. Just like you would do, just pay attention to what's going on there, and you'll know how much you can speak and not speak. And the main thing is just get the closing done, get the number signed. I mean, the paper signed, and that's pretty much it. I mean, really, that is it. You just have to take it like, okay, let me see what's going on here, how they like to flow, don't flow, whatever the case may be. Make sure they're not trying to push you into doing something that's outside of the scope of your notary laws. Make sure they ain't trying to get you to collect closing funds, things of that nature. Google the phrase, "Can Virginia notaries collect closing funds?" Have that page of them, that search result already ready, so you can show them just in case they ask you to do that, and you're like, right here, can't do it. I mean, that's what that's the only thing I can think of for you to do. Other than that, uh, I can't think of anything. Um, and all of that. So how y'all been doing? So far this month. Yeah, tell me in the comment section how y'all been doing this month. This is the first week. Boy, it's been a crazy week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 closings this week. 3 below my normal. I don't like that. Yeah, 3 below my normal. And things got so messed up today that I couldn't even, it was a house inspection I needed to do and I couldn't even get to it. So that's the first thing I got to do tomorrow is get up tomorrow morning and hop out there and get that done and stuff. So yeah, I was trying to get on earlier, but I had what, one, two, three. I had four scan backs to do. Four scan backs to do. So I had to stop, once I got home, had to stop everything I was doing, get that done. That took a little more than an hour to get that done, scan, double check the documents again, and then get those uploaded. All of that is done. I'm still waiting for them to get me 18 this week, but behind as well. Yeah, so that's good, man. So got the scans done. I'm still waiting for one of the companies to send me a shipping label, because it wasn't in the documents, and I already told them about that. So hopefully they'll get it to me. Hopefully they hear it and get it to me. Hopefully get it to me so I can get these documents shipped out tomorrow and stuff. And other than that, yeah, it's been quiet, and most of the work I've been getting right now this week, this month, has been from signature closers. Last month I did 50 closings from signature. The month before, 51. So right now, signature closers they've been the ones that's popping for me, and I'm like, okay, let me roll with it. Like I keep saying, you just got to roll with what's out there, and everything. So I wanted y'all's opinion, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, one being bad. Well, no, one being good, that not too much, or on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, one being everything's cool. How has entrepreneurship, your journey on this entrepreneurship, how has it negatively affected your personal life? Okay. Each person is different. For some, it hasn't. Meaning, like your relationships, has things gotten tense? Was there a time that it got tense and maybe now it's gotten better? Or because now things are a little tight and it might be in your area, it's hard to get work as an entrepreneur and you're struggling, is it starting to cause some tension? These are real things that we are faced with as entrepreneurs, regardless of whether you're a notary, car wash guy, hair salon, whatever. Entrepreneurship can negatively affect your personal life. And if you're not willing to do what it takes to keep things balanced, it can really destroy things to the point where somebody's going to make a decision whether or not they're going to kick it with you. And Cabrina said his has not. So for him, it has not. That is great. That is great, because see, some people say, "Well, no, I wouldn't." But guess what? You're working a W-2, and then all of a sudden you decide you're gonna go for a promotion. Well, guess what? In you going for that promotion, it can cause some strain and some stress on your family, because now they gotta take on some responsibilities that you are no longer doing because you're constantly at work. You get up, running to work, you coming to work from work late, you're doing it on a weekend, you're going to all conferences, now you're trying to get another degree, all of this for a promotion that you say you want. So don't say that being an entrepreneur can't negatively affect your family. It can, depending on how you and your family are. It said, hey, have you been getting a lot of loan mods from safety? Nope, I don't even. I turned it off to get notifications from them. I don't get any more stuff from them. I hit the button and said, don't send me no more from them. Yeah, because they've been having a problem paying people. Um, and I was like, I won't mess with them no more. So it was just constant, notification after notification. Um, and I said, you know what? I got enough work coming from everybody else. I don't need to mess with them. So I left them alone. So yeah, some people are still working with them, but me, um, I'm not messing with them anymore because I got plenty of work elsewhere. And it's not even so much about the dollar amount. It's just the fact that I got a lot of other work to the point that I don't even have time to do it with them and stuff. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, has entrepreneurship been a struggle, caused some problems in your lifestyle, in your family? Because it's not all roses. It can be difficult. It can be difficult. Good evening, man. It can be difficult because I know people who are struggling with their relationships, their husband and wife relationship, because one person is not on the same page as another. Example, you can have a husband who's saying, okay, I'm going to do this business, whatever that business may be. And the wife may not have any desire whatsoever to ever be an entrepreneur. But you, Mr. Entrepreneur, you want your spouse to have the same passion and convictions about entrepreneurship as you. And then you start dealing with her differently because she doesn't. That can cause a strain. And you have to learn how not to. And the same is true for the woman who is married and she is, or dating, and she has the spirit of entrepreneurship, but the person who she's dating does not. And that could be a very, very difficult situation because y'all love each other, y'all care for each other. You just don't like and love, like or love this version that you're seeing. Okay. It says, I'm single, so it hasn't affected anything. Good. That is excellent. So, first, you got to recognize that, okay, there could be a problem. And you have to learn to respect the other person's view on work. So, if you have a spouse or potential spouse, somebody you're dating, you have to understand that they may not look at entrepreneurship the same way, the same way as you. I don't know why my throat acting up. That ain't been bothering me none today. Got my stuff. And that's one of the things I had to learn. My wife, she had a different outlook, outtake on entrepreneurship, and I and I was like, okay, where is she at with this? This is where she's at. Respect that. Give her time to grow into it if that happens, but don't let it stop us from having a relationship with each other just because she doesn't have the same passion or the same vibe as me. Learn to balance the speak, the talk about our life. Everything can't be about the business, but then there are things that I need to talk to her concerning the business to get her input on it, maybe even get her approval, because if it's going to affect the family or potentially affect the family in a huge way, she needs to be a part of that decision, even though she may not ever want to be an entrepreneur herself. So these are things that I learned over the years that I have to do. And even if you're in a situation like Apprentice, where both of y'all, sometimes it's like, okay, we're gonna spend the next couple of days or next day or whatever, and let's just talk about us without the business talk, and let's see how things roll. And just make sure because there's that human element. Like him and his lady, they go on vacation, so that's a part of it. Going on vacations, like last week, me and the family, we just sat down. I went and there's a place called Pound Cake. They make nice little pound cakes. So I went and bought some miniature pound cakes for the family, and we all sat down with the pound cakes and some ice cream and just had about an hour or two, and we just kicked it with each other. That's all. We just talked to each other and enjoyed each other's company. Then yesterday, my youngest son, he was like, he needed to go somewhere, get some art supplies. I was like, well, look, how about I go get them for you? I'm gonna just buy them for you. Just tell me what you want, and I go get them for you. Told me what he want. My wife went with me, and then we was leaving. And there's a place called Azars. It's a really nice Greek Mediterranean restaurant. We always liked the food there. So I was like, let's swing over and get something impromptu. I know my wife liked the garlic fries. I like the gyros. Let's go over there and do that real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Knocked that out. Had a nice little time with each other and just spent some time with each other. So it was like me and her having our time with each other. Those are the kind of things you do, and it helps prevent resentment. It helps present stress and anxiety, distrust, all kinds of things. Because if you're not doing entrepreneurship right, if they don't understand it, if you're not willing to explain it to them, they can get, your spouse, male or female, can turn and resent you, and you don't want that. And then you don't want your kids looking at entrepreneurship as a negative because it's causing you to always be gone. So as much as I do with this business, my sons know that if they need me, all they got to do is call, text, or what have you. So the same commitment that I have toward helping notaries out, I have with helping my family out. Whenever my family need me, I'm there. It's that simple. I find a way to make it happen. What are y'all thoughts? Seriously, this isn't going to be some earth shattering thing. And I know it may not be a subject that a lot of people want to talk about, think about, but it's there. Because even if you are single, when you get unsingle or semi unsingle, that's something that you have to have a conversation about. You think that person supports you in your entrepreneurship, and they really don't. Because they may have some negative thoughts and experiences. Yeah, I remember my mom was trying to be an entrepreneurship, and all they did was just waste a whole bunch of money. You funny, Greg. Even, you got to think about that because there have been so many times where I've seen people get together and a person will fake the funk, and then you thinking that, okay, they down with me. And then next thing you know, after you into the relationship, they're doing everything they can to tear it apart because they had a bad experience. Because they're like, I remember my mom was always trying to be an entrepreneur. She was always trying to do something. And some people look at entrepreneurship and network marketing and Tupperware and Amway and all of that, all the same. And they're like, I ain't got time. And they'll do everything they can to discourage you. Now they love you and they want to be with you and they don't want no one else to be with you, but they don't want you to be an entrepreneur. They just prefer you to just go to work every day and they don't care about you feeling unfulfilled. They just are afraid that you're going to wind up wasting a lot of money. They may never have had anybody in their life that was a successful entrepreneur, or they had people in their life that took entrepreneurship to the nth degree and abandoned the family and never really showed true love and concern for the family. It's a whole bunch of different things. And you have to figure out, how do I give this person the confidence that me trying to be an entrepreneur and going away from the traditional 9 to 5 is not going to destroy the family. Then you may have somebody, and some of y'all might, who might be watching. I know most of the people watching are entrepreneurs, but you might be a person who is looking to support somebody. Or let's just say you decide you no longer want to be an entrepreneur, but now you're with somebody who does. You got to find a way to support them. You may not know everything there is, but sometimes you just have to sit there and listen. Sometimes you just have to just be there and show up at the event, go to the networking event and just be like, okay. And don't act a fool and don't have no scowl on your face the whole time. Don't go there getting overly drunk and all that kind of stuff, or even getting drunk at all. Just be there. My success has been because my wife is she's learned how to be there. Her success is because I've learned how to be there for her. When I was married. Hmm. Now, here's the other side. And Greg, you made me think of this, and I hadn't thought about this until you just did that. One of the problems with entrepreneurship sometimes is that the entrepreneur is not willing to take advice from the non entrepreneur. The non entrepreneur can see things a different way. They may not understand all the nuances, but they see it a little bit different. They can tell that that person's a scammer, that person ain't this, that, and they can tell you, and they like, hey, you probably, I think this isn't right. I don't think we need to be spending that kind of money there. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying you probably don't need to spend money to go to that next conference. You probably don't need to spend money on another course. You probably don't need to buy, just starting out, logos, shirts with your logo on it when you really haven't gotten established in the business. You probably don't need to spend $5,000 on a website. You probably don't need to do dot dot dot. You probably don't need to get your car all skinned out and wrapped with your business stuff on, because that's going to be about $6,000. You probably want to slow down. And the entrepreneur will fuss at that person saying, well, see, you don't know what being a business owner is like because you're not a business owner. You're just a W-2. That's all you ever want to be. Okay, but guess what? That W-2 money that I'm making is what you're spending because you ain't making no money in your business. So you have to be careful of that. You cannot dismiss somebody's lack of having entrepreneurship in their life, and especially when you're married to them or dating them, and then you want them to support you. No, that's not. That's just that ain't gonna happen. You have to learn to respect other people's work. And it starts with your spouse, it starts with the person you're married to, you're dating, it starts with your children, it starts, if you're single, it starts with your other family members. Not putting down the other family members because they don't ever want to be an entrepreneur and all they want to do is get up, go to work, and come home and chill. Respect that, because you want them to respect you in your endeavor, respect them in their endeavor. You cannot have a spirit of disrespect as an entrepreneur. That is the number one way to have things go bad for you, when you have no respect for other people. And we have that already in the notary business because people don't respect the fact that you just want to do loan closing. You just want to do apostille. You just want to do general notary work. And they're constantly telling you, no, do this, do that. Well, I'm good. I don't need another course. No, you need this course. Why do I need that course? Because I said so. I put the course together, so you need it. I spent many hours and days putting this course together, so you need to take it. Well, okay, well, no, and there's no free trial. Drop $500 to me and take my course. But I don't want to take it. I don't want to spend 500. I got $500 that I want to spend on my family. I want some do some special things. I worked hard. I got this money, and I want to spend it on my family. But see, if you take my course, you'll be able to make 5 times that, and then you'll be able to spend a whole lot more money on your family. No, I'm good. The 500 that I got, that I worked hard for, which is my goal, and I accomplished it. This money was meant to be for my family. It would not be right for me to take that, even if my family don't know that I'm going to do it for them. In a spiritual sense, it is not correct for me to do that. From a spiritual sense, it's just not right. Me in my heart of hearts know that this money that I worked hard and I had to set aside for my family, and then I'm going to not do it because some person told me, hey, you need to spend it over here with me. You was never in the plan. But if you spend it with me, guess what? You get a greater return. No, there's no greater return than me putting any dollar amount or any time into my family. There's no greater return on anything from that's anything greater than what me putting up into my family. I take time out and I put something into my family, something positive. I'm going to get something back greater than anything that you say. I don't care if I did take your course and it could get me 10x money return. There's something to be said about I had a promise within myself to do something for my family, and I allowed you to turn me this way. And yes, I made extra money now, but I broke a promise that I had within myself for my family. That you can't get back. Well, they never knew that you can't get back. If you understand what I'm saying, put a one in the chat. Seriously, it's not about you. Even if you ain't spiritual type person, you understand the concept. You have something that you plan on doing. You told yourself you would do this special thing for your loved one. And now somebody's coming with a diversion. And then you start running off and doing that. You can't get that back because you lied to yourself. And especially if you say, well, I'm going to pray for the opportunity to make this money so I can do this for my family. And the opportunities come and everything you pray for happens. And then you lie to yourself and you say, you know what? I'm going to go over here and get diverted. Mm-mm. Wasn't trying to preach to y'all tonight, but hey, come on now. You cannot allow yourself to get diverted from the promise you made to yourself. Because if you'll break the promise to yourself, you'll break it to your family. You'll break the promise that you made to your family. You'll break other promises, all because somebody said, look what I got. I got a nice little shiny object here. It can make you a little bit more money. And then when you get the 10x money, guess what? Give me nine, give me nine of it. Give me 9x of what you just made, and I can get you another 20x. And they always keep diverting you, distracting you, causing you to break the promise that you made within yourself. Come on, somebody. You have a promise that you made to yourself that you're going to do something for your family. And here they are with their hand out, asking you for that money that you made, that promise, the result, the culmination, the harvest that you just got. And now they're trying to take your harvest from you. That's part of the reason why I'm a loner, because I'm not allowing any of these suckers, these TMCs, to take my harvest that I've been blessed to have away from my family. Mm-mm-mm. I get in right there. What y'all thoughts on that? What are y'all thoughts on that? You cannot allow entrepreneurship. And see, you know what? Now that it comes up, the other avenue of entrepreneurship that can affect your family negatively is other entrepreneurs. Things that other entrepreneurs tell you to do, even if it's not for, even if they don't want to, even if they're not getting money for it, but they're just telling you to do things that can hurt your business, telling you, oh, this is what you need to do. You need to spend this amount of time. And you may have things to the point where, you know what, I don't have to spend 75 hours a week. I'm good. Oh, well, you need a virtual assistant. No, I'm good. I don't need that because I'm not doing anything in which I need a virtual assistant. I can handle everything myself. Matter of fact, this is where I know I need to be. I need to handle this. I need to understand my business operations and do this. Oh, well, see, you don't need a dual tray printer. You just need a single tray. They tell you stuff that diverts you, that causes heartache and hardship in your business. Now, let me jump on something else. You said yes, and it was easy to do, and we don't stay focused. I was guilty. I'm gonna share something with y'all. I talked to my channel members about this, and I'm gonna pull it up so y'all can see for yourself. get the history here. Um, Let me see if I can find. Hold on. All right, where is? Oh, come on. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, why don't I see it? Because it was some questions that I asked yesterday. Ah, here it is. All right. All right. So where is it? Where's my question? Okay, these are my questions. So here's another thing. Y'all know how I'm not against trainers, but what I am against is people sharing stuff and they don't back up what they say. So last night I was talking to some a group, and we were doing some mentorship through the 60-day challenge that Star McQueen has. And a question came up, well, a question that I posed, which was, what are your goals for the next 6 months? We halfway through. So what are your goals to finish out this year? And share screen. And with that, one person said to build more confidence. Well, I know most of the time when somebody says they want to build more confidence, it means they're trying to get into understanding the documents. About 90 from some percent of the time, that's what they're referring to. So they shared with me, and they're down in Florida, they shared with me that a person who they took training from told them that they have to learn how to explain the documents and the reason why. Hey, what's going on now, Laura? And the reason why they have to understand how to explain the documents, because it's the notary's job to make the person who we're meeting with feel comfortable with signing the documents. When has it been our job to make them feel comfortable about signing the documents when we're really just some random notary that they were selected to meet with these people? That's not my job. Okay. So I asked Deep Seek here, I said, where in Florida state law for notaries does it state notaries are allowed to explain loan documents? Because people keep saying that's what we're supposed to do. So where does it say it in the statute? So it says in Florida, notary publics are explicitly prohibited from explaining or interpreting loan documents or any legal documents unless they are a licensed attorney. So it talks about the unauthorized practice of law, this, that, and the other. A notary public is not an attorney or certified Florida paralegal who advertises in any language or performance of notarial acts must include the following notice in the same language. Dot, 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 dot. A notary public who is not an attorney may not explain, advise, or interpret the contents of any document, including loan agreements, mortgages, or promissory notes. And in my opinion, that advise also means summarize, because that's the default they fall back on. Oh, well, we're just summarizing. You are still giving some kind of explanation, advising, or interpretation of the documents, because in order for you to summarize, you need to have learned and understood what the daggone document meant so you can give a synopsis of it. Okay. Cannot explain terms. A notary cannot clarify interest rates, repayment, or legal consequences of the signing. Cannot select documents, cannot draft documents, must stay neutral. A notary's role is to verify the identity and witness signatures. Okay. There's a penalty and all that. And then this here talks about what notaries can do. The exception, if the notary is also a licensed attorney, they may explain the documents, but must clarify they are acting as a lawyer, not a notary. This is the source. So we know from the last video I did, notaries can do what in Florida? They can be looked at as notary signing agents. So I asked the same question, but this time I put notary signing agent in there. Where in Florida state law does for the notary signing agent does it state they are allowed to explain loan documents? And it says here, in Florida, notary signing agents are subject to the same restrictions and standards as standard notaries when it comes to explaining loan documents. Florida law explicitly prohibits notary signing agents from explaining, interpreting, advising on loan documents unless they are also a licensed attorney. Now, let me come back to y'all for a second. Do you see how somebody telling you that in order to be a notary doing loan documents or a notary signing agent can be a diversion from you ever getting started in the business? Especially when we see right there, or whichever way the screen is on my side, when we see right there that guess what? That's in a violation of state law. So you're sitting here trying to learn something that you're not even supposed to do. And because you may have some comprehension issues with it because of the language and just the whole thing, you start realizing that there's a lot of different documents out there and how am I going to learn it? And you start getting stressed over it. You have now been diverted and distracted from ever being successful in the business because you're being told to do something that you're not legally allowed to do. So how does that affect your family? So because you're doing that, you have spent now a year or more as a notary and haven't done any closings. And your spouse is looking at you like, what the heck is your problem? Hmm, why aren't you out there doing this? We got us spending all this money, all this time, sacrificing, not visiting family, not hanging out anymore, can't have date night because you're doing a closing, or I'm sorry, studying to do a closing, can't spend a weekend with each other because you had another meetup. When are you going to start making money? And I got to take on extra shifts. I got to get rid of my season tickets. I got to now hand wash my car instead of taking it to the car wash so we can save money to pay for all this stuff that you're not even actually doing. And when you start peeling back the layers of why they're not doing it, it's because they're trying to learn the documents. They're trying to be a document explainer. They're trying to learn something that they're not legally allowed to do. This is not speculation. This is facts. Okay. I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm telling you what it's saying here and what we know that is true. And then and you're wondering why people are struggling in this business because they're constantly forced to do something that they're not legally allowed to do. So no one should be doing that. So it goes on to says here, Florida bar rules of unauthorized practice of law. An NSA who explain loan terms, legal obligations, or consequences risk fines, revocation of the notary commission, and legal action for UPL, a third degree felony in some cases. Signing agents can do this: verify the signature, ensure the documents are properly executed, witness signatures, administer oath, deliver completed loan packages. What they cannot do is any of this stuff here. And see, when you start running your mouth, you open the door up for people to ask you for more information. First offense, suspension, repeat offenses, civil penalties, or criminal charges. Best practices: stay neutral. Only confirm that the signer understands that they are signing a legal document. Direct questions to lenders, attorneys. Say, I am not allowed to explain terms. Please consult your this, your that, and the other. Use disclaimers. Include a written notice. I am not an attorney and cannot provide legal advice. And again, people say, well, summarizing is not explaining. So what I did was I said, well, let's look up the word summary. The word summary has a few related definitions depending on the context, but the core meaning, a brief statement or account that covers the main points of a longer piece of information. She gave a summary of the report in 5 minutes. In law, a summary often refers to an abbreviated or expedited process, dot, dot, dot. So let me ask this here. So, um, is the term summary equal or related to the term explanation? I don't know. Let's find out. Are related but not equal. Okay. Hmm. So to provide a quick condensed version of the longer content. And this is what I'm saying. So a concise overview of the main points. So now that means we as the notary, you have to understand the document in order to give just the main points, omitting the details. But we know human beings, the moment you start giving them the main points, and if they don't understand and can comprehend what the main points are, they're going to want what? Clarification or interpretation of the meaning, causes, and reasons. This is why it is best for notaries to stay neutral and keep your mouth shut, because one can go into the other. Because if you already got somebody sitting there saying, "What's this? I don't understand this." If they don't understand what they're signing and why they're signing, especially after they read it, then you have a bigger problem. And if the person doesn't want to read the document, they don't want to take time out. That's even a bigger problem, because it's like, look, you need to read this because this is your contract. This is a contract that you're obligated to follow. Because once this is signed, there's you don't have anything to do with me anymore. There's no communication, there's no contact, there's no, hey Griff, I signed that. So what's is this, so what? Nothing. I'm done. I don't wiped it out of my memory. The only memory of it is in my logbook. So you have to be careful. You actually have to be careful. And it says, yeah, in Georgia, the bar has an opinion that LSA is UPL. So, and I did a video about that after we had talked. Greg, I did a video last week talking about the Georgia stuff. So my point is this: a lot of stuff people are telling you to do, you will not even take time out to just do a simple search and find out whether it's actually something you should be doing. And the reason why you don't, because somewhere along the line, they preference the statement of you need to explain the documents with I'm making all kinds of money. I'm making all this money. Well, what are you doing? Well, I explained the documents. Oh, explain the documents equal more money. That's what I do. And let's just be real. Some people, it's like, you're struggling. But if you were just to do the notary part, what you're commissioned to do, what you're authorized to do, most people don't struggle with that, or at least not for long. But the more you get into doing this other stuff that you really shouldn't be doing, that's what you're struggling on. And see, here's the sign of a business owner. This is what business owners are supposed to do. You look at what you do, what you're struggling with, and then you ask yourself, why am I struggling with it? And is what I'm struggling with something that I'm supposed to be doing? Why am I having a hard time driving my Pinto or my Nissan Sentra in the sand on the beach? Because it's not meant to be driven on the soft sand in the beach. But I have my friend who's in a four-wheel drive. They're going through the sand with no problem. But I'm stuck. So you're in your Pinto on soft white sand trying to drive up and down the beach, and you're stuck. because what you're doing was never, what you're in was never meant to operate in that way. And then you say, well, I'll modify it. Okay, so is the modification you're doing legal? Because now you start getting into certain things. You modify your Pinto to do that. Well, guess what? You may not, it may no longer be street legal. So it can ride up and down the sand all day long on the beach, but you can never put it on the regular road. And some of the stuff that they're asking you to do is modifications to what you shouldn't be doing in the first place, to try to come up with a reason to do it or some kind of way to do it. But you can never take that to a title office or go out here in the mainstream, because they find out you're doing that stuff. Your hind parts to be in jail. So you have to be careful. But what I do know is you're going to do what you want to do. Because if it's going to make you the money, if it's going to make you feel a certain way, you don't give a flying flip about anything. You're just going to do it. If it gets you on somebody's stage, if it gets you in somebody's YouTube video, if it gets you somebody's some kind of accolade, you're going to do it. Because for you, the bottom line is I'm making money. I'm being Miss Popular. I'm being Mr. Popular. Everybody loves me. Everybody is ooh, ah, and over me. Y'all just don't know the egos that are in this business. There are so many people that they got big egos, and they do everything they can to suppress it in front of people, but their egos is so big, and they need all of this admiration, all of this likes, and all of this stuff from people giving them pats on the back and stuff. They need that, but they ain't really doing anything. And it sounds good, it smells good, but in all essence, it's not, because you just have unalive bodies along the way, and nobody is actually being successful. And the people who are being successful, they're like, well, yeah, I started with them, but I decided to go my own path. And then it's like they're doing good because they realize, okay, well, yeah, that was like, my way is better, and it's legal. So, any questions, any comments about what we talked about tonight? So, if you're a Florida notary, I just showed you, you should not be explaining documents. And if anybody tells you different, then they need to specifically cite what's Florida statute they're referring to. And if they say, oh, well, we're just summarizing. So now you have to ask the question, am I legally allowed to summarize? And I need proof of that. I can't just take your word. I know you're cool. I know you're good looking. I know you smooth and all of that. But can you provide me any proof? Well, I can't provide you any proof, but I'm just saying it's nothing wrong with it. Telling me there's nothing wrong with it doesn't keep me out of jail, doesn't keep my commission from being revoked. Because if I'm standing in front of the judge, I'm like, hey, they told me, they said nothing was wrong with it. My question will be this, and I'm gonna close on this. I promise. Whoever your TMC is, trainer, mentor, coach, without even asking them, looking them in the eye, whether in person or via Zoom or whatever, or any other method you see them, do you see them as a person that if you got in trouble based off of advice that they gave, that they would stand up in a court of law and say, hey, judge, look, don't punish them. That was on me. If you don't feel that they would do that, now I gave my word. I told the people I was mentoring last night, I said, hey, if anything I ever tell you and you get hemmed up, I will be there for you. I will come there and I will have proof of why I said what I said to back anything up I said. I said that's what I would do, which means I have to work extra hard to ensure that what I share with y'all is viable. Are there some opinions in there of mine? Yes, but I put forth a lot of effort to make sure that they're facts, that you can go back, it's tangible, and that you can grow from and say, okay, well, I see this here, I can implement this, and I'm not breaking no laws. That's what I would do for you. But if the people you're talking to, no matter how nice they are, if you don't have a warm and fuzzy that they will actually come and stand up in the court of law and take the hit for something they told you to do and it's deemed to be completely incorrect or partially, hey, don't punish. That was on me because they the ones who taught you. If they ain't willing to do that, might want to rethink your relationships. All right, that was it, y'all. Thank y'all very much. Oh wow, under an hour. I really, really appreciate y'all. But just go out here and be great. Don't stop doing what you know is right. And if you don't know whether it's right, find out. All right. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Peace.